Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are very scared right now. They're fearful. And I do want to make note of the fact that generally speaking, just before a reversal in the market, that is when the people are most wrong, right? So people are most fearful just before a bounce and they're most euphoric just before a drop. That's generally what happens in crypto. Now, obviously that's not an argument alone for Bitcoin to bounce, but it's very important to note that the reasons people are scared is because they're looking at things like a potential double top formation where I've just outlined, and they're looking at the stagnation mostly, right? Bitcoin going sideways for about 100 days, and more specifically in this range going sideways for about a month. They're getting a little bit uneasy here. They're losing that greed that they had in the first part of this range, and they're flipping bearish, right? They're getting scared. And I understand that. I understand it from the perspective of the average person, but from a perspective of someone who actually looks at the charts and actually looks at the macro ranges, what I see on the Bitcoin charts right now is Bitcoin coming to a crossroad, okay? I don't see Bitcoin in this terrible position where it's about to drop and we need to get out of the market. I actually see Bitcoin dropping downwards in a healthy fashion towards bounce zones, okay? Critical bounce zones. And it's very important to note that if we lose them bounce zones, we lose the bounce zones that Bitcoin is coming up upon, okay, yes, then the fear is justified. But right now, those bounce zones are intact, okay? And so for now, the fear is not justified. So all this kind of fear you're seeing, all the people getting really scared and selling their assets or getting ready to sell, it's not justified right now by simple objective methods of macro TA. And we're going to look into that in this video, and we're going to explain the bearish scenario. When will fear be justified? And also explain why currently it is not, and why currently the macro bullish structure is still intact, and why currently the trajectory is still upward, right? So obviously I'm macro bullish on Bitcoin. I'm going to start with a fresh chart to describe this whole situation. Let's get straight into it. Before we get into it though, check out the VIP group on Telegram. We trade altcoins 4 to 5 times a week on VIP with a 77.51% win rate in a public PDF document. You can see all of our wins, all of our losses, all of our trading plans ever posted. Transparent right there. You also get access to a group chat when you join VIP. So trading signals and a group chat. Get into that exclusive community if you're interested. That's where you need to be. Let's get into it. Okay. Fresh chart. Let's start outlining some lines here. Okay, so we're on the 4-hourly chart. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can see exactly what's going on. This is the Bitcoin range since around February. Let's go to the weekly chart first and foremost, because again, this isn't just about what we can see on the screen right now. This range is a macro range, okay? And in macro ranges, you have macro important levels. So levels that are important on the macro, levels that go further and deeper than just what we can see on the screen. You go to the weekly chart and you see that the highest ever weekly candle close we have ever seen was at 71.2K. You go to the monthly chart and you see that the highest monthly candle close that we have ever seen, again, is at 71.2K. What is this telling us? It's telling us that 71.2K is an important level. So let's go ahead and plot it in on the Bitcoin chart. We can see very clearly here, 71.2K is an important level. It has acted as macro resistance on multiple occasions, okay? And if we extend that level upwards to around 72K, all right, we can see that the 71.2 to 72K region has been basically the critical level that has defined this entire range to the upside. Yes, we saw a brief little, pump above that level when we breached all-time highs and went to 73K. But that was an unsustained pump, and even for the first part of that move, we were finding resistance within that range. So I actually see Bitcoin very clearly right now. I don't look at the top of this range as the all-time high. I look at the all-time high as a justified deviation to the upside, and I look at the top of this range as 71.2 to 72K. So let's go ahead and delete those lines and actually replace it with a little rectangle, a rectangular resistance box. That is our target. That is the box we need to get over. If we get over that red box, we are in the clear. And you can see very clearly, again, why are people scared? They're scared because they understand that. And in understanding that, they saw the recent move. They saw Bitcoin rejecting twice from that region. They're looking at a potential double top formation. They're getting scared because they think Bitcoin's going to break down further from that rejection, right? I'll get into that in a second, but we need to understand a bit more about this range. What else is important? Well, we can very clearly see that around 67K roughly, it's a very vague level, but around 67K we have actually a support line, okay? So that's kind of like the slice in the middle of the sandwich that is this range. And the bottom of this range, in my opinion, is actually 61.2K. And I don't think the bottom of this range is down here at 57K. I think 57K was a justified deviation. If we go into the longer term Bitcoin charts, we can see very clearly that this massive 13-year long ascending support line in yellow was perfectly retested and flipped at 57K, along with the bull market support band, along with the pi cycle center lines, meaning that the bottom of this range on Bitcoin is actually at this green line here at 61.3, and this little dip below that level to 57K was a justified deviation considering the support levels were layered just below there. We very quickly went down, very quickly went back up, and very quickly we re-established that level of support. Now obviously that 61.2K level is a vague level. A lot of vague levels in this range. When you see a range that has lasted 100 days, you're going to have vague levels, right? You're going to have little drops back up and down, up and down, up, down. But for the most part, these are the three defining horizontal levels of this range, okay? So 61.2K, and again, 61.2K reflected on the monthly chart. It was the highest ever monthly candle close we saw in the 2021 bull market. So all these levels are not only justifiable via the immediate short-term surface level analysis, but they're also justifiable via monthly chart and weekly chart levels that are more hidden and more deeply entrenched into the chart. So these are the three important levels you need to be looking at right now: 61.2, 67 roughly, and 60 and 71.2 to 72K. All right, so what's actually pressing right now is not 61.2K. 61.2K, of course, is a major macro level, but right now you can see that our next support zone is 67K. All right, so we need to be focusing on this little part of the range here. Now, okay, let's get into the real nitty gritty here. Now that we've established the bounds of this range, let's get into a bit more in-depth analysis, right? Why are people scared? Again, they're scared because we have a potential double top formation, two separate rejections after bouncing from support. That generally leads to another retest of support and a break downwards. People are expecting we're going to go downwards to 61.2K. It's very important to note, if Bitcoin did go down to 61.2K, that wouldn't be the end of the world necessarily, right? It would be bad. It would be bad, particularly for altcoins, okay? But it wouldn't be the end of the world for Bitcoin. Because if we look at the same things that held Bitcoin up at 57K, those things have now moved upwards to 61K, and so we could technically go back to them again and test them for support. But we really don't want to see that, okay? We don't want to see Bitcoin go all the way back down to 61.2K because of altcoins and the general market health, right? We look at Ethereum, for example. Ethereum has no support. Ethereum is in a free fall right now. There's a reason your altcoins have been getting wrecked, okay? In this little drop down we saw on Bitcoin, not really much at all, really, just, small little drop on Bitcoin. Ethereum's down massively, and so are altcoins. That's because Ethereum, which is the leader of altcoins, lost a major horizontal support level, and it's got like nothing left here. It's just in a free fall. So the further Bitcoin goes down, Ethereum and altcoins getting hit 3 times as hard. And if we look at the altcoin market cap, so we understand, Bitcoin TA, Bitcoin macro, it looks okay until 61.2K, but we can't really go down that low and maintain the health of the altcoin market. Because if we look at the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap, which is the altcoin market cap chart, what we see is something very, very clear. The altcoin market cap chart, as you would know by now, I've explained it many times, is following the same pattern it did in the last cycle, okay? Step 1, bottoming out. Step 2, the first kind of top of the bear market. Step 3, exiting that bear market range. Step 4, consolidation on the bull market support band before blowing up in step 5 to a parabolic bull market. Again, we're on the final step, which means the next step for us, if we're going to continue following that pattern, is blowing up into a parabolic bull market. But it's a very important thing to note that one of the key components of step 4, which is the final consolidation before a parabolic bull market, is holding the bull market support band. Right? We are testing that bull market support band level right now as we speak. So although Bitcoin can go a little bit lower, altcoins really can't. Altcoins, more or less, have to bottom right now. Because if altcoins lose that bull market support band on the weekly chart, okay, they're in a free fall. Their 5-step pattern is ruined, and they're in a very uncertain territory where altcoins will get wrecked. The same logic applies to the RSI. Ascending support line on the RSI reflects very clearly an ascending support line over here on the RSI that we saw in the last cycle that held on a step 4 retest. It's being tested right now on a step 4 retest. Again, if we go down a little bit more, if we lose this level, we lose the bull market support band, altcoins are completely wrecked, okay? And that could throw off the macro structure enough to deviate Bitcoin as well and destroy the entire cycle, okay? So what I'm saying to you is this right now. Bitcoin has this range, 61.2K, 67K, 71.2 to 72, okay? Very important range, but right now it's not really in much of a pressing position. It could realistically go down lower. It could realistically drop all the way down to 61.2. But if it does that, the altcoin market and Ethereum will get absolutely decimated, and that could lead to further uncertainties for Bitcoin, and it could lead to Bitcoin breaking downwards as well. There's also not really much of a logical justification for Bitcoin going much lower. Although Bitcoin is not in a detrimental position if it does, it just doesn't really make sense because we saw a perfect bottoming out structure. Okay, an inverted head and shoulders pattern, a break upwards, flipping this level for support on 2 occasions, seeing constant retest of support and seeing that support holding and attacking to the upside. We saw a perfect retest of 57K while we were in the lower part of the range. Why would we need to go back down into that lower part of the range again? It wouldn't make much sense. So again, just to kind of recap here, Bitcoin, if you want to get really into the nitty-gritty, it technically can go downwards more, but it really shouldn't, okay? It could maintain the health of the structure, but it really shouldn't, because if it does, that will lead to the altcoin market cap and Ethereum getting absolutely destroyed, and it would also lead to a kind of an irrational drop back into a prior level that we already cleared perfectly. It would lead to a lot of fear, okay? And a lot of unnecessary retests. It wouldn't make sense. So realistically right now, I am hoping, okay, and I think it will, because right now there's no deviation whatsoever. Everything we're seeing right now today as of current is perfectly normal compared to what we saw in the last cycle. Again, retesting bull market support band, retesting the RSI setting support level in step 4. We're doing all of that right now. It's the same as what we saw last cycle. There's nothing to be scared of right now in this moment. But we need to be bouncing here, in my opinion. If we're going to maintain maximum health, not only for Bitcoin, but for altcoins and Ethereum, which are, you know, the fundamental part of an altcoin season, really, and a bull market, fundamentally, right? If we're going to maintain the macro structure, the macro health of the cryptocurrency market here, we need to be seeing the altcoin market cap holding this bull market support band. And we need to be seeing the altcoin market cap holding this RSI setting support line. These things need to hold. And I don't think we have much room to move lower. And again, this is where I wrap back to the original topic. People are fearful right now. People are getting scared. Are they justified in being scared? Not yet. They're not yet justified in being scared, because as of right now, nothing at all out of the ordinary has happened. But we are approaching the critical bounce zones, and these bounce zones need to bounce. Okay, we need to bounce off of them. Fundamentally, that's what it is. Now, thankfully on Bitcoin, you know, the fears of this kind of double top formation, this M pattern, are, you know, I understand them, but at the same time, you need to understand that, you know, it could be an M pattern or it could just be an ascending triangle. Okay, you could just have these macro support lines forming some sort of ascending triangle that we bounce off of soon. Okay, maybe that one there, maybe this one over here, maybe this is just an ascending triangle formation. Okay, so for every single double top that is attempted to be formed, there's always the possibility it converts into an ascending triangle. That's just how it works, right? Because for a ascending triangle, you need consistent retests of a horizontal level, and if you have higher lows while those consistent retests are there, again, that could very easily flip into ascending triangle. So the whole concept of a double top formation doesn't really scare me right now at all. What scares me, not what scares me because nothing's happened yet, but what is catching my attention is not the double top formation, because again, that could very easily be an ascending triangle, but it's the critical bounce zones that are being retested right now, specifically on the altcoin charts, not necessarily Bitcoin, but specifically on the altcoin chart. So what I want to be seeing, I want to be seeing Bitcoin holding that rough 67K region. I don't really want to be seeing it going too much lower than that. Maybe it comes down and retest this macro yellow line here. I want to be seeing, for the most part, the total 3 cryptocurrency market cap chart holding that bull market support band, holding that RSI line on the weekly chart. Again, we can see wicks. Okay, we have 5 days and 19 hours until the weekly candle close. Maybe we see a massive scam wick downwards. Maybe we see some stuffing around in price action below that level. But I want to be seeing weekly closes above that level. Otherwise, okay, then there maybe is some cause for concern. But right now, at this moment, nothing at all has happened out of the ordinary. So I'm not worried as of current. But yes, we do need to be watching these things, and we do need to be bouncing quite soon. We don't have that much lower we can move, especially on altcoin charts. Bitcoin maybe, but even then, you know, if altcoins aren't looking good, who's to say that Bitcoin's going to, you know, if altcoins break down below these levels here, who's to say that Bitcoin's actually going to hold 61.2K, you know, after 4 months of going sideways? Maybe it will just go down. So again, approaching the critical bounce zones, I'm still macro bullish. Everything's still intact. Absolutely nothing's changed at all. But these macro bounce zones need to trigger a bounce. Okay, that's the conclusion. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and check out the Crypto Academy's Become a Trader bull market sale, teaching you how to trade for a limited time. We're having a discount there, a bull market sale, as you can see. Check out the website, read up everything about it. Go ahead and check out our 3 exchanges as well: BingX, BitGet, and Bitunix. Okay, I've advertised 3 exchanges on this YouTube channel. They all have different niches, different use cases, different geographical access, you know, stuff like that. Where do you live? You know, which ones can you sign up to? So check out those ones below. They're all very low in trading fees and have all never been hacked before. My links down below, you can sign up with them. They're called referral links. And if you sign up with my referral links, you'll get access to a 15% trading fee discount for your life on the exchange. Okay, so you're saving hundreds or potentially thousands of dollars just by using my link to sign up. You're helping me out and you're helping yourself out by getting on a good exchange you can trust. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.